Another thing that we've been seeing a lot of is how organizations are starting to object or more to where their ads get placed in terms of content, objectionable content, especially when it comes to digital advertising. Has this always been the case, or is this more of a phenomenon with digital advertising? And how much of it really does impact their brands?
I think this issue of advertising appearing in places that are at odds with the values of the advertiser is a relatively new phenomenon, and it's largely driven by programmatic media placement, where you've got ads being placed instantaneously on thousands and thousands of platforms, and there's very little control over that because it's an algorithm driving it. So I think it's a relatively new phenomenon. It's a very big deal for advertisers, and so I know that the media agencies are working on it extremely in an extremely focused way. It's a big issue.
Is this something that's always been the case, where consumers automatically assume that just because an ad is placed near content that they might consider objectionable, that brand is automatically associated with it? Since when has it been all tied together?
I think this issue has existed before, and I know, for example, back in the days when it was newspaper advertising and things like that, placement next to a feature story that in some way was relevant to that particular ad, and that was a coveted position, and you might pay a premium for that. So it was more the flip side of getting next to the content you really wanted, and there was less of a case of being next to something objectionable. But it happened, but the scale of it happening was far less, and the content was much less objectionable. So now you've got media, a plethora of media platforms that are peddling lies and things that are not true, or things that might be seen as racist or other kinds of things. And so that is a relatively new phenomenon. And we see that. It's like the whole political debate and things like that has gotten so polarized and so nasty. And that's happening on new media platforms that have, sprung up, and mobile and social has allowed them to get viewership at astounding rates. So it was an issue before, but nothing like the scale we see now.